The Robby Framework Show. This is episode 17, and we have some updates. Well, usually Lee is the one who does the updates regarding the project. Um, but yeah, so let's take it away. We have a few articles that we found that we want to discuss. And I have a question already from the audience on Instagram, and we'll be answering that shortly. So stay tuned. All right, Lee.
So updates. Let's see here. Been working on various blog things, doing articles, just trying to get things out there. The big thing that's going on is we have our two how-to hardware how-to videos are getting a little bit of traction. That's fun. Um, been exploring how all that works has been kind of interesting for me. I think you knew more about it than me, but I'm starting to kind of get to know a little bit about it, about click through rates and retention rates and all of that stuff, how they affect things and what it all means.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, glad you could make it. So let's see what else. Just had a meeting with our accelerator company, and we're moving along on that front. We're trying to get ready to start talking to investors here, which is scary and exciting all at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a different Michael. We got Michael Condra here too. Wow, far out. And Michael Morales.
All right.
How to blow up an Arduino. Did you blow up an Arduino doing what we were saying, Michael? Jeez. I hope nobody blew up their Arduino. You know, we have a very good disclaimer in the sketch saying we're not responsible for anything bad that happens using it. Not that it's very easy to imagine anything bad happening from an Arduino sketch, but you never know.
So Michael Condra, is that the
That's
Michael that used to
Michael
work with
from our
us?
last job. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw the emails come through, I was like, oh, I think this is Michael.
Yeah, that Michael. Yeah. Yeah, he actually downloaded our software
Nice.
and even registered it on his computer. That's like not that many people doing that yet, but some, more and more.
Yeah. So yeah, so on that, so we're still waiting for that person in Germany, right, to come back from summer vacation, right?
Yes, from his 6 week vacation to do his really interesting project. It's kind of a hobby project, but it's going to be fun and interesting. I think
Nice.
he's got some crazy hardware to play with.
That's good. So then I guess that's an update, right? We had one more user, Michael Conrad, registering. So I guess that's considered an update, right?
Yeah, and he's even here with us tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's we've been getting some traffic from the to the website. We just got to get more of them hitting that button, coming and registering for the beta. You know, I need to do like a hypnosis thing here, and you want to beta, you want to beta.
Yeah. Michael. Now we're gonna have to use last names now. So Michael Morales. I remember that he suggested that we do that we add a video introducing ourselves on the website. So kind of also pitching the idea on the video. So something similar to what we did for when we applied to Y Combinator.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, so it's just kind of introducing ourselves and sort of talking about the what the framework does, what it offers. So it would be slightly different than the 1 minute video we did for YC, but
Hopefully, a
sort of
little
along
better.
those lines. Yeah. So there they only gave us 1 minute.
Yeah, and I was nervous that night.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm always nervous when I get on videos.
Yeah, it's the camera lens that does something.
Yeah, I'm camera shy for sure.
You get better over time. Uh, trust me, when the first time I got in front of the camera, it was, I think it was just my phone, and I was recording my first YouTube video, and I was just looking at it, and do I press record? Do I press record? Yeah.
Yeah, I get tongue tied a lot. Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know what it is? It's when you're talking to the camera, it's not something that you naturally do. You're looking at the camera, and there's no one in the room, or there might be someone behind the scenes, behind the camera. It just makes it harder. But when you're having a conversation, just like we are now, you might be answering a question that you got. That it's different. I don't know what it is. I still can't get used to it. Looking at the lens instead of the screen, it's yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's even worse when you come back later and look at it. That's really hard for me.
Yeah, or listening to your voice, right? It's like, and that happened to me too. It's like, that is that how I sound?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness.
There's Michael.
Sith Order CEO of Umbrella Corporation. Oh, that's that TV show, right? The Umbrella Academy or something.
No, the Umbrella Corporation is from Resident Evil, the video game that
Oh,
they
okay,
started
okay.
doing movies, and I think there's a show. There's a show now.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
One of the streaming services.
yeah. So I forgot the question from Instagram, so let me find it.
Oh, oh, yeah. Hey, well, that's priority. We don't get that many of those.
Yeah. Let's see. Hmm. Do you have any tips for a first programming internship? I would imagine how to get one is what they're trying to ask, or what this
Hmm.
person is trying to ask.
Aside from going and looking at all the boards, if you're really looking for an internship, I think what I had some luck with it was a lot different 40 years ago when I was doing it, but um, what I think kind of worked for me was thinking about companies that I would be interested in working with and just sending them cold emails to their HR departments and stuff and asking if they had any internships available or junior programmer positions and entry level programmer positions. Put together a really enthusiastic cover letter and resume and send it off just kind of cold. And that's something, I don't know, I had some luck with that at various times when I was just getting started. At that point, when you're just getting started with things like that, enthusiasm is a big part of it. Showing that you really want it and that you're really passionate about doing it and that kind of stuff. Because if they're looking for an intern or a junior, that's really what they're looking for. They recognize you don't have the chops yet necessarily, but they want someone who's really hungry.
Yeah, that is that is true. The other thing, I'm not sure. This person didn't specify whether they are going to college or boot camp or. Um, but I think another thing is that if you're going through a boot camp or college, there are resources there as well. I know that some of the bootcamp programs offer a way for you to land an internship, or maybe even a job. So that's another thing that they can look into.
Really good point. Yeah, and colleges a lot of times companies will go to colleges like the last company we worked for used to send the recruiter out to the college to invite people to internships. We'd have groups of potential interns come in, kind of have a little competition. We'd take 8 or 9 of them sometimes. Usually more like 3 or 4 of them, but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, from I think the biggest group I saw, I think it was like 15 interns, and I think we ended up, like you said, keeping by like maybe 3 to 5 of them out of the
Yeah,
15. Yeah,
yeah, we got some really really good coders out of that too.
yeah,
So a couple of them that kind of turned into legends in the place.
yeah, yeah.
As a manager or someone that's doing the hiring in those kind of situations, that's where it's fun because you're really going out there and trying to pick in your head which of those people are the ones that are really going to shine, and what is it that attracts you in that way to they're going to be the ones that really come forward and have it.
And
We
it's
got pretty lucky.
and that is so difficult to do. I think, yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but the thing is that you have very limited time to interact with these people, and so in a way, I guess some of it, if they're really good at interviewing but not so good at doing the
Yep.
work they need to do, right? And you'll find out eventually, right? But it's
Yeah, the hard way.
yeah, yeah. So I found an article, and it's not so much. So I'm going to share my screen, Lee,
Yeah, okay.
and it's not so much about the product, but sort of like the form factor of these devices that are coming out, and they're becoming more and more popular. Um, so this is a laptop
Oh wow, look at that.
that has a foldable screen, and you can attach a keyboard to. So once you unfold it, and you end up with like a 17-inch tablet per se, and you can fold it and use it as a laptop. So let me scroll down a bit.
Wow. It must be OLED.
Yes, I think they are OLED. So this one is actually Lenovo who put this one out. Um, and even the keyboard has the red dot in the middle, like the ThinkPads usually do. This is actually a ThinkPad um, X1 Fold. Is what they're calling it.
All
So
right.
I've seen this folding thing on smartphones, especially the Samsungs, where they call it the flip, and then they have the fold. I don't
Yeah.
know if you've seen it. So there's the flip phone, kind of like the way that we used to flip our phones back in the day, but now it's a whole screen that folds, similar to what this device is doing. And then they have the fold, which is, imagine like two smartphone screens put together, and they fold right in the middle. So one thing that I've seen that I kind of saw, or I thought it was going to happen when they started, when I started seeing these devices on the web, was that sooner or later you're going to get a crease, and that screen, that plastic is going to wear out. And I started to see it now, and relatives or people I know who have that foldable screens. You
Right. I
start you
wondered
start
about
seeing,
that.
yeah, you'll start seeing that crease, in the middle of the screen. So now my question is, yeah, these devices are pretty cool. It's so cool that we now have foldable screens, but do they really serve or um, fix a problem? I guess is, do we need them? I still think, in my opinion, I think still too early for me to find use with one of those things. Um, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, when OLED was first coming out, there was all this talk there was going to be turning clothes into LED screens. It's going to be so flexible that you could make clothing out of it if you wanted to, which seemed kind of wild to me, but it'd be good for invisibility stuff, that stuff where you depict what's behind you so that you're invisible, like in the Predator movies.
Yeah,
But yeah, I agree, especially that fold thing. I wondered exactly the same thing. How long does it take before that plastic in the middle cracks? because it seems to me like it's bound to eventually.
Yeah.
It just, no matter how flexible it is.
Yeah.
But the interesting stuff, and it opens up a lot of interesting possibilities. I would think, there's a lot of creative ideas you could get into with that, with different signage and different things with flexible LED screens and
Yeah.
car headlights and stuff like that. Imagine car paint jobs. The whole car could be an LED screen.
Yeah. Didn't they have one of those?
Now
Not
that
too.
I said it, I think I remember seeing
Yeah, I
that at
think it
some
was
point.
at
Yeah.
was it at CES, but I forget if it was this year or last year when they showed it. I think it was a BMW that changed the paint change color.
Huh.
Uh, but I vaguely remember.
You could go crazy with that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's the very beginning of this. They still have to, perfect and finesse the ability for those screens to last. Um,
Yeah, and I think with the things like that, it's a novelty and it's cool, but is it practically something people are really going to want? And I don't know
yeah,
the answer to that. I'm not saying that it's not. Maybe it is. It just you don't really know that until it's been around for a while and you see whether it takes off or not. I think
yeah. Michael says that we need foldable glasses.
foldable glasses. I need any glasses that I don't lose.
Yeah. Um, did you hear about the NASA launch that was, I guess, postponed?
Yeah, yeah. Have you heard? At first they were saying it might still go tomorrow. I haven't heard though whether it's going to or not.
Well, on YouTube, I have a reminder still set for it to remind me. So yeah, as far as I know, that's what they're saying.
I'm actually kind of excited about that. It reminds me of when I was a kid when the Apollo things were going off, and that was really exciting to me as a 7 or 8 year old or whatever I was when the moon landing happened.
Yeah,
Actually, I guess
I,
I was 11 or something, but still.
yeah. I unfortunately I wasn't part of that.
Yeah, it was still really new then, and it would take over the TV. You would sit there for the entire day watching it on TV, and it would just be the guys with the cameras on the rocket ship, and it was exciting for me as a kid. I loved it.
Yeah. And you like Formula One. You might be interested in this note that I found. Let me share my screen again. So Audi is going to join Formula One in 2026.
Yep, yep, I've seen
Yeah,
that.
and I was reading through this article, and I guess it turns out that Porsche is also joining as well, and they're gonna buy 50% stake of Red Bull. I don't know
Is
if
that
you
what
read.
they're talking about? I heard Porsche was wanting to get involved, but last I saw, it hadn't been decided what their involvement was going to be. But wow, half a Red Bull would be a big deal. I wonder if they're
Yeah,
going to make the engines for them if they do
yeah,
that.
that's what they're talking about. So
Wow.
so so Volkswagen, that Volkswagen Group owns both of them, Audi,
Right.
Porsche, and Lamborghini. Um,
Oh, Lamborghini too. I didn't know they own Lambo. Okay.
yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see. Yeah, I wonder what's gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah. Red Bull's all invested in the Honda engines now. So it'd be interesting for them to switch. They only been with Honda for like 3 years. They were Renault before that. So now to have them switch over to Porsche, and they're doing so well. I mean, they're
Yeah.
way in the lead for the championship this year. Yeah, don't get me started on that Formula One stuff. I could go off for a long time on that.
I don't see. Let me see if we have any more questions on Instagram. Okay, so the person who asked the question about the internship is asking to clear if say if I can specify or clarify my question. The question was more towards tips once you land an internship and working from home.
Oh. Oh, okay. Well, we got that all wrong, didn't we?
Yeah. But in case anybody was wondering,
Oh, that's the question you wanted to ask that we didn't answer like at all. Oh, definitely there. Boy, the ones that were really successful for us, it's an interesting balance to strike between being assertive and not trying to kind of interject yourself too much too early, but not being afraid to interject yourself into conversations and to be part of the conversation. One of the big things that happens in any development environment is you get a lot of people collaborating about things, especially when something might go wrong, um, or things like that. We're all trying to figure things out together. And sometimes what we found, boy, a couple of them, one guy,
mhm,
who would come in and just be in the conversation, and there you get all these people with lights going off, going, "Oh my God, he's right. Oh yeah." And sometimes that fresh perspective can be really big, and it can be a chance for interns and people that are new like that to really shine. But I think the key is to not kind of go into it like a bull in a china shop, bulling your way in and thinking everybody's going to hang on to what you have to say about it. It's kind of to go in there and don't be afraid to put things out there. Yes, I am a geriatric dev. Thank you, Michael. uh, but yeah, it's don't be afraid to put yourself out there, but also do it with respect and be
yeah,
ready for people to go, yeah, no, that's not right, and don't try to take over the conversation, but participate in it. I think that would be my biggest advice.
yeah, I agree as well. Another thing I would suggest, kind of along those lines, right, and not necessarily for an intern, it could be that you just landed your first job, you're a junior, and you're trying to figure out or do something to get better. Um, when you're beginning, when you're starting out, there's going to be gaps in your in your skills, and you have to put some extra work after work, in my opinion. You go through your work day, you find out like, hey, you know what, this thing I really don't understand what it does, and you can't do it during work hours, so you have to work a little extra and do some research and learn on your free time.
Yeah, that's a great point. Early on like that, especially if you're planning to just work your hours and do the work you have at work, you're probably
Yeah,
not going to get there. For
yeah,
me, it was all about, I wanted to spend every waking hour programming anyway. So I get off work and I'd start programming something else on my own just because I wanted to keep programming, and I
yeah,
would learn that way. But it's all about the learning, especially early on. You want to be a vacuum cleaner and learn absolutely everything you can, and
yeah,
particularly the stuff that's going to be useful for your job when you have that first job. You want to really understand the technology that they're using.
yeah. And I don't think that's going to be a problem, like you said, Lee. A lot of the people who actually like doing this and got into programming because they actually like it, and not just because they heard that it pays well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't think you're gonna have a problem doing it.
And those are the good coders. The good
Yeah,
coders are the ones who can't not do it, kind of.
yeah,
It's, you're kind of addicted to it. I always viewed it as an addiction. I always said that in my cover letters in my first early jobs. I'm hopelessly addicted to programming.
yeah,
Luckily, my addiction is something I can make a living at.
yeah. So the same, yeah. So for me, it was the same. But then something happens once you get a certain level of experience. You stop being so hungry, and you I think you focus more on building things than so much learning.
Yes.
Like right now, I know that Michael is trying to get me to learn PHP and WordPress and all that, but it's like unless I need it in my day to day, I just don't have extra time to, to learn something I'm not going to use.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good point. It's for me, it's interesting. I've almost always had some kind of a project on the side that I was doing outside of work because that's the programming I do for fun as opposed to the programming I do for work. And it's such a different experience, and it's fun. It's just free form stream of consciousness sitting there hammering out code because it's fun to hammer out code. But
Yeah.
it's always in the technology that I'm using at work at that time. So
Yeah.
that what I'm learning and doing that, even though I'm not, actively going out there just trying to learn now, but still I'm growing in what I'm using at work by doing this side project at home.
Yeah.
That's something I've always done. So I got a couple articles that are kind of interesting.
Okay.
One that a guy, you know what a theremin is?
No.
A theremin was one of the first electronic musical instruments.
Okay.
You like the movie Forbidden Planet. All the
Oh,
weird
yeah, yeah,
sounds.
yeah.
Those were theremins,
Okay.
and it was two antennas coming off this box, and one of them controlled pitch, and the other one controlled volume or amplitude. I guess volume really, and they were controlled by how close your hand was to the antenna. It was picking up capacitance from your hand.
Okay.
So one of the closer you got, I think the higher the pitch got, the farther away you got, the lower the pitch got, and the other one, the volume went up and down doing that.
Oh, wow.
So this guy, I found a video of a guy who has built a theremin out of a Commodore 64. Which I couldn't decide which was more interesting, that he built a theremin or that he did it with a Commodore 64. I hadn't even seen it. I had picked video of him with the Commodore 64, and I was like, wow, I remember that. I remember having one of those. So that was kind of a fun one.
Wow, that is cool.
Another one that was kind of interesting to me, that mostly because of the term that got used. And have you heard the term cloud bricked?
No.
That was new to me too, but I guess it's a thing. And it's referring to when you have technology that relies on a cloud service of some sort, and that cloud service goes away, and it turns your product into a brick.
Oh, wow.
So that's
Yeah,
cloud
that
brick.
makes sense.
And this one particular one was about a product called Smart Dry, which was a sensor that you put in the tub of your dryer that would sense when your clothes were dry and give you an alarm on an app on your cell phone that your clothes were dry. So you could turn off the dryer whenever the clothes got dry and theoretically save electricity. And I guess they were relying on a cloud app for that, and that went down. And now their little sensor in there is a brick.
Oh, wow. So people have to go check to see if the clothes are dry.
Yeah, well, yeah, and this thing just no longer has any use. It said there was a workaround that they're offering, but it involves putting some kind of a microcontroller card in there with the thing and wiring it up to the brick. It's still a
Wow.
brick. Yeah, that's not much of a workaround, really.
Wow.
Cloud bricks, Robby. Oh man, you're killing me, Michael. But that was kind
Wow.
of a fun one. I don't want to be cloud bricked. Well, we have to make sure we avoid that. Don't rely too much on that cloud stuff.
And I wonder how they got themselves into that. They probably signed a contract with the service provider and that, yeah.
Yeah, well, and it was some small cloud service thing. If you're gonna do something like that,
Oh,
make it
yeah.
AWS, or Azure, or something that is gonna be around for a while.
Yeah.
Don't go with Joe's
Well,
cloud
Yeah,
service.
or at least have a way to update some firmware or something so you could, yeah, build
Yeah,
yourself an option there in case you need to make changes. Wow.
yeah. I guess these guys were starting to kind of take off too. They're starting to get a little market going, and not so much now.
That's un- that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really sad in that way, but interesting story of our times.
We're not using any service like that, are we?
Well, I got one thing that hooks up to Azure AI, but I'm gonna do it to AWS too, and yeah, we're not so dependent. We got a lot of options with those connectors. And I have one more thing. You heard about the new USB that's coming out?
A new USB? No.
Yeah, USB
What?
4 version 2. It's going to
Wow.
run through the C connectors, USB C connectors, and it's going to do 80 gigabits.
Holy.
Yeah, which my question is, what do I need to do 80 gigabits for my internet then?
Well,
I guess there's some
yeah,
things that'll be
for
helpful.
data, I guess for data, you can do it for data. It would make sense. But I know that like Thunderbolt 4.1, I think is the latest version. Those cables are expensive as heck to be able to get
Well,
that
that's the thing.
bandwidth,
This is
right?
different than that. This is different. This USB 4 version 2 will use existing standard USB-C cables. So
Wow.
you don't have to have a special cable, but you'll be
Wow.
able to do 80 gigabit. So that's kind of interesting stuff. Thunderbolt is dead. Yeah, I think so. I think this will kill it, if nothing else.
Yeah, but it's if yeah, I mean I use it. I connect
Oh, is that right?
my work laptop from just a single cable, um, and it's docked, and so pretty much my monitors, my whole setup runs from a Thunderbolt cable.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So I got two monitors, keyboard, mouse, microphone, the 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 video card that I what is it, capture card to use the my mirrorless camera as a webcam.
All right.
The
Yeah.
the sound comes out of that. Yeah, so that, I mean, it's pretty handy. It is. It's a one cable, and then so for example, if I wanted to plug in my ThinkPad, this new one that I got that supports it, I could just plug in the Thunderbolt, and my laptop is running my setup.
But you still got to do the Thunderbolt cable for that, right?
Just one cable, one
Oh, okay.
Thunderbolt cable, and it will charge it and do all. So just one single cable for charging and everything
Okay.
else.
Yeah,
So
I guess
that
the
is
only
handy.
difference is this one will do all that with a standard USB-C cable, in theory
Wow.
at least. I
Yeah.
presumably I don't really know that, but that's why they
Yes,
made it sound.
that is very interesting. Yeah.
So I think that's my article stuff for this week.
USB is the standard. Yeah, I mean USB-C,
USB-C,
it's
yeah.
everywhere. Yeah,
Actually,
and
I like the USB-C.
me too. I know like the newer cameras, like the last camera I got, it has USB Type C, and it's just so easy. The laptops now have it.
I
Yeah,
like that you don't have to worry about whether it's right side up or upside down. That's nice.
yeah.
It's a nice sturdy connector. It's not flimsy like some. So yeah, I'm a fan.
So I do have one more article, and let me pull it up. So I know, Lee, that you play video games, right? Do you
I play
use
computer games. I don't do those console things.
no, so you use do you use Steam at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I came across this article, and this is I mean, this is a few days ago, Lee, because I did it all ahead of time. I didn't like do it last minute right before we got on the call.
Wow. Look at you.
Just kidding. So I found this story of this guy, and an indie game developer who started seeing that as soon as he launched his game on Steam, he started getting a lot of emails from curators on Steam asking for a key so they could play his game. And I don't know if you're familiar with curators on Steam.
No.
So pretty much what they do is they're sort of like a user that has sort of like an influencer that like, hey, I tried this game out. You should check this game out. Is and they sort of
Okay.
review games, right? And to be able to do so, to be able to review them, they go to the developer and they get keys. Well, this guy started noticing that like he was giving away a lot of keys, but they were not playing them until some time later. Like weeks will go by before he actually saw that they actually played the game. So he was kind of wondering, like, okay, so are you gonna like play the game or what? And then he found out that there is this website, g2a.com. I don't know if you've heard of it. And all
No.
they do, their business model is selling keys for software. So he ended up finding a bunch of those keys, or he came up with this plan to try to find out who was actually a curator and who was scamming him for the keys for his game. So he developed a way for him to sort of give a demo of his game using a key. And if you had one of those demo keys, obviously, if you play the game and you try to finish the game, that the actual true curators on Steam were hitting him up saying like, "Hey, I think you gave me the wrong key because I'm not able to, get past level whatever, he set it for." So that's how he started finding out who was actually a curator and who wasn't,
Whether they're
and
actually playing the game or
playing
not.
the game
Yeah.
or not. Yeah. So he started distributing those keys, and then those keys ended up on this website that was selling illegitimate keys. Um, and just for fun, I went on that website, and you can get Windows 11 Pro Home Edition and any software you can think of for dirt cheap. So it's like I don't know how reputable this website could be.
Yeah, they used to call that gray market.
Hmm. Yep. So that I thought
Yeah,
it
you're
was
gonna have to give me
interesting.
the link for that. I could go for the No, no, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so we have one more question from the audience.
Okay.
Do you think that it's a good option to learn Angular?
Yes.
Simple
Yeah.
answer, yes.
Simple answer, yes. Well, I think it's a good thing to learn any of the big frameworks right now. Um, it can't hurt you. It will end up being a good thing for you to learn it. Even if, you end up getting a job in React, um, the experience you got learning just how frameworks work in general from learning Angular is going to be really useful to you. Just learning how to work in that environment is big. Um, yeah, Michael doesn't like React. I like React. I like Angular too, though. I like Angular for certain things, especially if you're doing a lot of kind of high end functionality on the front end. I'll take Angular. It's
Yeah,
nice for that with the way the controllers work and stuff in it. But yeah, I would say go learn that stuff. It's gonna be a no lose thing for you. Pick one you like and figure out a project and go do it.
yeah. I've heard a lot of Michael says that he prefers Vue. I've heard a lot of good things about Vue. I just never really spend the time learning it.
Yeah, I haven't
Um,
dug into it at all. I know it exists, but I don't know anything about kind of the ins or outs of it yet. I've done a lot of Angular and a little bit of React, enough to know I kind of like React.
yeah, and then we also did Ember.
Yeah, which I
Ember.js.
wouldn't say that stuff about liking it so much about
Yeah.
Ember.
So Ember.js, it's not fun in my opinion. Angular, with the new state management they have, it's fun. What is it? RxJS. What they, there's different flavors. There's also NXG. Wow, NX NGRX. It's the other one
I
for
haven't played
state
with any since Angular 2, so I'm a
for state management. Very similar to Redux, in
oh, okay.
React. Um,
Okay.
it's something that Ember does not have. The state management is it's not great.
Well,
Yeah,
that for a long time that was the big challenge in any .NET application was how to manage state that you want at the front. We used to jump through all kinds of really interesting, weird hoops before the days of frameworks. jQuery was kind of an early one where you could play games to make it do things that would keep state for you.
yeah, yeah. With MVC and jQuery, that was a combination you would see a lot.
Boy, that MVC stuff, I still, I can't warm up to it. I just don't like it. That's the work we did on the website. I used the MVC for that. And you saw me struggling with that. MVC sucks. Yeah, I think I'm kind of with you there, Michael. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Either make
Well,
it server side or client side or one or the other, not this weird messed up mix of the two that doesn't make
yeah.
anybody happy.
I think I think when it came out, when MVC came out, micro ASP.NET MVC, I think it was a good way for you to get an application, up and going. But when spas became more popular, then it was just a no-brainer. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Now that
MVC.
Yeah, now that we know what we can do with JavaScript, it's kind of hard to have that, that go back to MVC, and
Yeah.
and but then again, we always keep going back to it because like, oh yeah, this is gonna be easy. Let's just do an MVC and then just get it going. We
Well, so
always
that's
fall
how the
for that.
website ended up in that, huh?
That's how we always, and we're not the only ones, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's that temptation. Well, just put view bag on there, put it in the view bag and it'll be fine.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that MVC isn't really even MVC in my book. It's really MVVM, as I would argue, but people have that argument with me probably, but it's all about view models, really.
Yeah.
Better Wix than MVC. Well, yeah,
Yeah, maybe
I'll take pretty much any. I'll take ASP over MVC. Well, maybe not that, but
Squarespace. What's the other one that it's up and coming? Webflow. Have you heard of that one? It's like one of
I've
those
heard
drag
of
and
it. I'm
drops.
not sure. I don't even know what it is really. Is it a framework or what is it?
No, it's like a service, similar to Squarespace, where you pay a monthly fee and they host your website, and you can go in and they have a WYSIWYG for you to go edit it.
Oh, okay.
But Webflow is sort of in the middle. Oh, so Michael says that he's an expert on Webflow. There
Well,
you
he's saying
go.
GoDaddy is an expert or something. He's saying GoDaddy is a Webflow expert. Is that what you're saying?
Um, GoDaddy has also a drag and drop designer.
Oh, okay.
What's incorrect, Michael?
10 seconds. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Dun.
So yeah, I guess. So what you're saying, Lee, is that you're thinking about rewriting the site.
No, that's exactly what I'm not saying. saying I'm going to whine about having to go do MVC when I work on this site.
This is what we can do. We can use the newest version of MVC and rewrite it.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to learn this. I remember when it first came out, and I got as soon as it mentioned Razor. What do you mean another language? No, 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 no. I am not going to learn another language to use this thing that I don't even like.
Yeah.
And that's why I think when I put it down and started using Angular 1.
Yeah. Michael says he could rewrite it in an hour.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised actually. I mean, there's not that much. Mostly it's HTML. There's not that much functionality on it. That thing I just did with the blog has the most functionality out there on it, and that's not much.
Yeah.
But I got my feet wet with MVC on it, at least, or something.
Yeah.
So I've been playing with the robot arm in the last couple of days.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
We got to make an arm video. We got to figure out a way to do like an arm video on one of these live streams. That would be fun. It would be scary because the pressure would be on when it didn't work. But it'd be fun. I think we need to figure out a way to do that. I actually started playing with that a little bit today.
Nice. Maybe that will be the next video.
Yeah, well, yeah, that and maybe
unless you have. Okay.
Yeah, I got another hardware how-to in mind, but yeah, I really want to do an arm video now. I've been playing with the arm, picking beer bottle up and moving it from one surface to another while the robot holds it.
Were you yeah, so I guess to give a little bit of context, so last weekend I went up to Lee's house and he was showing me the progress that he's made with the arm. It was picking up the beer bottle, but we were having problems having it go higher, right? So it was going to like at a certain height and it wouldn't go past it. And then you will have to reset the servos, right?
That arm's supposed to lift a kilo, and I know that beer doesn't weigh a kilo. It weighs more like less than a pound, I think, or right around a pound, which is half a kilo. So, but I think it could be that somehow I'm not getting enough amperage to the arm to really power the servos as much as they could be. Although it's supposed to be getting 6 amps out there, which should be as much as it needs, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I broke down and emptied out the beer bottle. With an empty beer bottle, it works fine. Which, that doesn't really hold up to the fetch a beer challenge that we're working on, but we'll work on that later.
Okay.
When we get funding, I'll get a more expensive arm.
Yeah.
12 amps for the arm. Yeah, I don't think these are Dynamixel servos, and they're rated for 4.5 to 6 amps, I think. And theoretically, I'm putting out 6 amps, but I don't know. I'm not that good on that electronic stuff, which makes me a questionable roboticist. I'm much more of a programmer than a roboticist in reality.
Yeah. Well, all right, Lee. I think it's usually once we hit the 45-minute mark is when we start winding it down, right?
Start thinking about dinner.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate everybody getting out here. If you're still out there, Michael Condra, thanks for coming by. It was nice to see you on here with us.
And Michael Morales, thank you for joining.
Yeah, as always.
It's always fun to have you. Well, all right, everybody.
Running commentary going on in the background. It's cool.
All right, everyone. Well, have a good evening and thanks for joining. Catch you in the next one, Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Bye, everyone.